Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Jonesy and Brown show. My name is John Brown. By my side is my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the legend, my mellow, my man in the plan, my mellow, my ace in the place, my man 50 grand, Mike Jones. Who?
What's going on?
Mike Jones. Mike, got to call a family meeting, man.
You say so.
What do you mean if I say so? Bruh.
We'll get to it.
No, you damn right we gonna get to it. We have a problem. And the problem is it's not even Martin Luther King Day and football season is over in Philly. I haven't felt like this in 2 years.
You surprised? Because all season long, there were guys on the team telling you things weren't right. And we kept ignoring it. Like, oh, it's be fine. They'll turn it on. They got another gear. Why would we think that?
I'm pissed off.
Why?
In fact, yes, I am more pissed off than surprised. Because you and I got together last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I said on this air, said I wasn't necessarily worried about the 49ers beating us, but I was worried about the Eagles losing this game because of the reason why they had been losing games all season.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I am not surprised. I am still pissed off because the season is over. The season came to an end with a 23-19 loss in the wild card game against the 49ers. So yes, I am calling a family meeting. Yes, there needs to be a family meeting. The family needs to be brought in. We had to call the ancestors.
Yes.
The family needed to be brought in. So right now, joining us from Total Sports Live, longtime supporter of Best of the World Sports, our good friend, Mr. Javon Ov'r, the host of the Broad Street Line and frequent contributor to The Gambler at Fox Sports, Mr. Roy Burton. In true family fashion, we also invited Adil Royster on the show, and he's running on SCP time. He'll be here eventually. It is what it is. We still love that brother, but Adil will be here shortly. But for now, I go to the family. I turn to the family. I turn to Mr. Javon Ov'r first because it's been a minute since I have talked to you and have talked Eagles with you. I don't think you're surprised by the way that game went, right?
No, not at all. I think that game probably was the perfect microcosm of just the entire season. Like, if you want to say what is the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles, you would probably point to that game, in a nutshell, because it was just offense became super conservative and wasn't playing in rhythm, wasn't stacking plays. Then defensively, they somehow went the opposite way in the second half of not being aggressive after being aggressive and bringing the blitz in the first half. So it was almost like the perfect storm, almost just like how it was in 2023, that Buccaneers game. It was almost like that Buccaneers game was how you would sum up that season. Mm-hmm. This season is kind of the same way. You sum it up to, you kind of saw the writing on the wall in the team that was better coached on both sides of the ball and more disciplined ended up doing what they were supposed to do, despite being down multiple guys.
You used the term better coached. Roy Burton, in your opinion, were the Philadelphia Eagles out-coached last week?
I don't see how you cannot agree that the Eagles were out-coached last week. Again, you saw what Shanahan, did to that Eagles defense when to his credit, he has good players, but you saw what Shanahan did to that Eagles defense when they needed to make plays. And then again, you saw another game where the Eagles just came out undisciplined, just making mistakes. Again, when you see, when you have significantly more turnovers than your opponent, that's a coaching issue, right? Like you see, you know, Reed Blankenship just making mistakes on defense. You see guys, you know, holding or running down the field, you know, illegally and things like that. Like that's just a coaching. That's all coaching. And you know, just to kind of just go back to Jonesy's point. I mean, like we saw this coming. I mean, like this is not surprising. I mean, this is stuff that we've talked about. You guys have talked about it for months. You know, we have all talked about it on our different platforms for months. Like it's not surprising. Like I think we kind of talked ourselves into like the Eagles kind of figuring things out, you know, over this playoff run because, you know, they just came off a Super Bowl win. But this has been a poorly coached team all season. Like, this has been a team that, again, you know, runs a predictable offense all season. I mean, none of this is surprising. But, John, to your point, it's just more disappointing than anything.
Disappointing, not necessarily surprising. Now, I guess that then brings us to the question, if you believe that this team was outcoached because they were clearly outplayed, then what next? How do you fix the problem? And I will turn it to you. I will start with you, Mike Jones, because I feel like
don't start with me.
Don't start with you. I don't need to start with you.
Don't start with me.
Well, then I'll start. I will start with myself. I will start with myself because I feel as if I say I'm angry, I'm disappointed, but I'm not. I wasn't surprised. But then I looked at where I was at different points in the past. End of the Andy Reid era. I wasn't calling for Andy Reid's job, but I was more or less in a position where, hey, if you want to make a move, go ahead and make a move. I was done arguing with people who wanted to move from Andy Reid. I'm like, look, man, I'm not gonna. If they make a move, I'm not gonna debate that. We all want Chip Kelly gone. You know, that's we can fast forward past that. We all want Chip Kelly gone.
Yeah.
At the end of Doug Peterson, I used this particular microphone, said I wanted everybody gone. I wanted Doug gone, I wanted Carson Wentz gone, I wanted Howie gone. Howie worked his way back into my good graces. At this point now, I am not necessarily sure I am out here calling for the head coach's job yet. I say yet, because that could change. But right now, I feel like I am willing to give Howie and Nick an opportunity to fix that. The first step was made yesterday when they fired Kevin Petullo. That was the first step. Because I feel like just in my interactions with my partner, Mike Jones, sometimes I feel like he thinks I put all of the offense's woes on Petullo. Like now that a change is made, they're going to go back to lighten it up and they're going to be the best offense in football. And
I do have a side question when you say that. When exactly were they ever the best offense in football? And
exactly.
But I'm going to get to that. That's just why I didn't want to go first, because we're going to get there.
Exactly. Touche. But I feel like in my interactions with you, I feel like you believe. And that's why this is Jonesy and Brown, so I don't have to necessarily speak for you. But I believe that you think that all of the issues were on Kevin Petullo. So now that he's gone, things will be fine. Things will be better. And that's not necessarily the case.
All right. So here's my thing. By no stretch would I say Kevin Petullo did a good job even this year. He definitely seemed to struggle specifically with in-game sequencing of plays, like knowing when to call what. And I frame it that way, as when to call what, because over the last 4 or 5 years, the offense has been the same. The play calls, the play design, regardless of coordinator, has been the same. We've seen different coordinators over the years try different stuff. By week 6, they're back to running this offense. The reason appears to be that none of them trust the quarterback to run a more complicated offense. There have been reports during the season about the quarterback not running the offense the way they wanted it to. Shady McCoy, former Eagle Hall of Famer, still connected to the team, has come out a couple times and said that there's stuff coaches want to do, according to what he's being told, that they can't do because of the quarterback. And I'm going to say something that none of you all actually probably want to hear me say. Let's just be honest, though, for a second. You had, even in the year we dominated and crushed everybody, we were the bullies of the league, won the Super Bowl last year. We had the 29th ranked passing offense. You had the best offensive line that we've seen in probably the last 15 years, maybe longer. You had a top 5 in the league receiving room. You had a generational season from your running back. And we were going into the playoffs asking, is this offense good enough? Because we couldn't throw the ball. At some point, especially as this quarterback ages and loses the ability and or desire to run as much, this is only going to go downhill. It's really kind of like Russell Wilson 2.0 in Seattle. Young, mobile, you could get a lot done, but you're not the greatest passer from the pocket, especially being only around 6 feet and struggling to see. These things we can see on the field playing out. But the story is always, well, all he does is win. All he does is win. All he does is win. No, all the team does is win. When he loses, it's, oh, he didn't have this. He didn't have that. We need more of this. But when they're winning, it's never, oh, well, they had this and they had that. It's, oh, the quarterback, all he does is win. Nick Foles won a lot of games. Nick Foles in 2017 had just as good a playoff run as Jalen Hurts had last year. 2 good games. And you know what happened after that? They got rid of him because everyone knew he wasn't good enough. At some point, can we have this conversation about Hurts without you all just telling me all he does is win?
Are you saying he's not good enough?
I've been saying it for years.
Okay, Sarah, you're saying that Jalen Hurts is not good enough.
My mouth.
You're saying that Jalen Hurts. I'm just
okay. Now let me be clear.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen he's good enough to win, but his style, what the amount he depends on his legs and his limitations as a passer, that's not a style that gets better as you age. That's a style that gets worse as you age. So at some point we're going to have to be, I'm not saying he was never good enough, but same with Russell Wilson, as those legs diminished, his overall effectiveness will diminish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Jalen Hurts being much different, especially since over the last 3-4 years, we haven't seen much progression from him as a passer at all. So that's where I am at. At some point, we need to reevaluate the quarterback position.
Well, here we are. First round, we just got bounced in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're free to do whatever we want. So if you want to reevaluate the quarterback position, is that what you're calling for? Do you feel like that is a call that needs to be made? You need to call, hey, it's time to reevaluate the quarterback position. Rewind a couple years back. We had a playoff run with Carson Wentz. Got bounced in the first round.
All right, so let me answer your question this way. At the point Jalen Hurts is at in his contract, he's almost out of guaranteed money. I think the guaranteed money might be up next season.
Mm-hmm.
which leaves you in a situation where you're going to have a high cap number and you're either going to have to extend him or move on. That's coming within the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So the business of it says you have to evaluate what you plan to do at the quarterback position very soon.
Mm-hmm. Man,
If you actually think
man will
he
be
can
28
develop
years. He'll be
Mhm.
28 years old on opening day this next year.
Mhm. And as of right now, would you want to extend him to another 4 or 5 years?
That's the question. Roy Burton, are you in the same place as Mike Jones?
So let me just say I'm not in the same place, but I first of all let me give Mike his flowers, because there are very few people who want to say certain things negatively about Jalen Hurts because he's a black quarterback. Like, people just don't want to say it, and I think Jalen Hurts, just like everybody else on this team, is worthy of criticism. I mean, like, there's some part of the me and my my co-host partner Chris, we call it the pie chart of blame, right? There's some part of this pie chart of blame for this Eagles team that has to go to Jalen Hurts. And people don't want to be hypercritical of Jalen Hurts, because he's black. And the fact of the matter is, he hasn't, played up to, a Super Bowl caliber level of quarterback this season. But to all that's to say that, I think this probably is, John, to your point, the time where you kind of have to start evaluating Jalen Hurts. Not that you need to make a change, but
right,
whoever you bring in as the OC, that OC and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts need to get in the room. And it's like, look, we are going to design this offense to play to Jalen Hurts' strengths. Like Jalen Hurts, his strengths, whatever his strengths are, running the football, whatever he feels, whatever plays he likes, whatever design he likes. This should be Jalen Hurts' offense in 2026. So we can get the best evaluation of Jalen Hurts we can with this team around him. And if Jalen Hurts doesn't become, that elite, $50 million passer that we're paying him to be, the top 10 kind of guy in the NFL that can lead your team back to a Super Bowl, then next summer or next, January, we got to have that conversation. We absolutely do.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I'm saying. We're at the point now where we can't just blindly say, oh, he's our guy. All he does. We got to be willing to evaluate him too. No, I'm not at the point where it's, oh, get rid of.
Right.
Oh no, it kind of sound like, yeah, just get rid of Jalen Hurts. That's kind of what it sounds. No,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a bum. Get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I am saying
go ahead. I'm sorry.
That we need to take a fair look at him too.
No,
an honest look at him too.
And that is fair enough. And I don't begrudge that. I don't even disagree. I don't even disagree with that point. I think there are people who, to an extent, blindly defend Jalen Hurts. But I also think that when it comes to Jalen Hurts criticism, there are way too many ways to pile on and for reasons outside of football. Yeah. You want to take a look at his play, the way he plays the game, how he plays the game, his abilities. I understand that because we watch the games, so it's there. It's not like there are criticisms of his play on the field, what he has done on the field, what this offense has been able to do on the field that aren't legitimate. If you want to put things on Jalen Hurts of this season, that's fine. I understand. But I also think that when it comes to criticizing, there are some things that you hear that you've heard of from black quarterbacks for the last 20 years.
All right. So can I say something? Because I said this on our show on Sirius the other day, and Roy, you just touched on it. There are criticisms of Jalen Hurts, which may be accurate, that people are reluctant to make because he's a black quarterback. And I think specifically one of those criticisms is that Jalen Hurts possibly is a 1-2 read quarterback. That's one of those stereotypical criticisms you hear of black quarterbacks that nobody wants to say about Jalen. But if you watch him play, you see a lot of times he gets stuck on that first read, almost never gets to the third read or the check down. Like, that's one of those things where it's like,
yeah, and I think part of the reason is one of those things because that tends to that tends to dive into the conversation about black quarterbacks and football IQ.
Absolutely.
Because so that will be a trigger word. That
Right.
will,
And
that is,
and that's exactly what I was saying.
And all I'm saying is that yes, there can be a legitimate conversation where that is concerned. However, at some point in time, there's a difference between a legitimate conversation and people piling on. And I understand that there are people who those people who are having a legitimate conversation, who want to have the legitimate conversation, I talk to. And then there's people about that BS, and I don't talk to them. It is what it is. It is what it is. Javon, here we are. We're sitting here. We're. I understand that I think it's easy to be able to say, hey, you know what? This is a quarterback and a head coach with 5 straight playoff runs.
Mm-hmm.
2 Super Bowls.
Appearances.
2 Super Bowls. No, I didn't say 2 Super Bowl wins. I just said 2 Super Bowls. A lot of success. And Jalen Hurts over his collegiate and pro career has had a lot of success. This is a man who is used to playing in January. When New Year's comes, he's still working. A lot of people are off. Jalen Hurts is still playing. But so it's going to be hard to move some people off that spot. Like, hey, you know what? We need to look at this quarterback. And there are people who are also saying, hey man, we need to look at this head coach too. Where are you with that?
I think this team's issues this season are like multi-layered. Like obviously it starts with the head coach. And I think the reason why things look the same is I think because he has everybody. There are probably people that believe he has his hands, like his little imprints, like within, like, let's not do this. Let's play conservative. I think there was like a radio quote that like came back from like 2 years ago where it was like, where Sirianni was like, yeah, I don't really like throws over the middle of the field because they're very like turnover worthy, like type of situation to play. So I think there's between the head coach, obviously the quarterback didn't play up to standard. He showed some moments this season, right? I think we all remember the Minnesota game against that Brian Flores defense. You're like, oh crap, like why
perfect passer rating?
Yeah, and why does this offensive coaching staff not play that aggressive when it needs to be? Because I think Brown and Smith both had like over 120 type yards. So you see like the glimpses, and obviously the Russian attack wasn't as great because the offensive line play was poor, and that's a whole different thing. I think you have to evaluate both. I think obviously the head coach probably gets a little bit of a shorter leash just because this is now the second offensive coordinator hiring that he's did internally, and it hasn't panned out. That said, I think when it comes to the quarterback, I think Mike is right in that, like, obviously, like this time next year, like if this is like a repeat of next year, even if statistics say like 25-6, right, but it doesn't look like a great 25-6, then you definitely start to have that conversation. And you look at what is next year's draft class, which is supposed to be very loaded at quarterback. So I think you look at all those things when it comes to the quarterback. And I think just listening to everybody, talking, bringing, good points, to the floor. I think when we talk about him as a quarterback, right? Because I have a friend that's a Ravens fan, and all he likes to do is talk about Jalen Hurts and trash him, even though he's a Ravens fan. And Lamar doesn't win consistently. So when you think about Hurts, right? I try to look at it in the vein of, does he have limitations yet? Because we look back at the game on Sunday, missed a couple of wide open throws, Devontae Smith on the drag route, right? Just hit him, take the layup throws, right? You got to do that. He tries to force it to AJ Brown, and we know how that goes, right? Especially this season. And I think when we think about Hurts, I look at him as like top 15 quarterback. Can you win with that? Yeah, right. And obviously all winning doesn't want to be the main thing, right? You have to be able to continue to progress and be a better passer in a long run. And I think for me, I would like to see what Hurts would look like in a more spread-ish type offense that can try to get different passing concepts going based off of what we saw from out of college in Oklahoma when he was with a Lincoln Riley, where it was more like get the ball out, spread the ball around, see what you can kind of do with that, and like you said, play to his strengths, right? Maybe play to his strengths means getting more RPO going for this offense. I looked up, like it's weird. His RPO plays have gone down every year since 2021. I think it's like 154, 148, 116, 98, and 80. Like it's consistently like dropped like every year, which is mind-boggling. And it brings me all to say this, that I think Hurts, like you said, I think we have to I think what everybody said, I think is the thing about him is like you have to evaluate him after this and next season things go poorly. I think is correct. I think when you look at his quarterback class, does he get more criticism than some of the guys in his class? You can make the case, right? Like Justin Herbert's an all-world talent and he doesn't get the same amount of criticism. I mean, shoot, they've dumbed down his offense, with Harbaugh and Greg Roman. Like, hey man, like I just want you to hand this rock off like you JJ McCarthy back in Michigan, and we'll just do what you need to do. Jordan Love, same guy, in his draft class, haven't had the same amount of success. But I would love to see what Jalen Hurts would do in a LaFleur system, seeing the concepts and things that they run for their wide receivers and how they spread the ball around. So I think in general, it's all like a very multi-layered like situation.
No, so here's where that gets interesting for me is when Sirianni and Steichen first got here, the offense they ended up running is not the offense they started running. They started running an offense where you were spreading the ball around a lot more. It was not successful. They went back to the run first, limit the quarterback type of offense and carried that kind of through till Steichen left. The second year, they threw it a little more. That was probably Hurts' best year as a passer, year or two in the same system, but it was a run first system. Brian Johnson takes over. It was not great. They threw it a little more. Hurts had a career high in turnovers that year. I want to say he had 15.
Yep.
And then Johnson was gone. Kellen Moore comes in the next year. The first 4 games, they're trying to run something different. They're trying to spread it around. They're trying to hit different receivers, and it's not working. So they have to go back to limit the quarterback. We dropped from close to 30 to almost 20 throws a game, and we're going to let the Saquon carry and this O-line carry us. Every version of this offense, every coordinator has reached the same conclusion. Yeah, we tried it. It's not going to work. Let's just stick with this run-heavy thing. So I don't know necessarily if you put him in a LaFleur system, if he adapts to LaFleur or LaFleur would have to end up adapting to him. And that's really where I need clarity. I'll say it that way.
Well, I think maybe it could be a little bit of both. Right. It looked like you were about to say.
Yeah. So, and everything that Jonesy just said is 100% correct. I'm just trying to figure out how much of that, all those offensive coordinators, decision-making scheme changes, are just a fact that the Eagles just kind of realizing their strengths, right? Like the strength.
I agree.
Team,
I don't know
right.
either.
Yeah, like the strength of this team is running the football, right? Like
you have this offensive line,
right?
Like
when this offensive line is
not
healthy,
to run.
Right? Like when this offensive line is healthy and ready to go, like they're road graders, right? Like they'll just destroy the other team, like like in the trenches. Like you had Miles Sanders is a top 5, rushing yard running back.
Right.
Like DeAndre Swift, like fantastic running, like guys like put up crazy numbers, like behind this offensive line. So like I think when you just look at the personnel on this team, it's like, all right, what's the best way for this team to win games? Like, okay, running the football. Like, I know we have Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and whatever, but again, if we run the ball 30 times a game, 35 times a game, we're probably going to win. And again, considering the fact that this head coach is turnover averse, then all right, let's run the football. So I just think that's just the general philosophy of the team. And when, like you said, when Brian Johnson kind of went away from it, when they kind of went away from it, a couple times like since then, it's like, all right, well, yeah, like it might be cute to try something different, but again, at the end of the day, again, we have a top 3 offensive line in football. Let's just run the ball, not turn the ball over, and win every game 20-17. Like that. I mean,
agree. But I would throw in the one caveat that if they had ever been successful in one of those stretches where they were trying something different, they would have stuck with it.
True. That's fair.
And that's where I need to know whether it's coaching or quarterback or what.
Yeah, but also I think you look at this offensive line, and I think this offensive line this year has regressed greatly, whether it be because of injury, whether it be because of play on the field, whether it be because of for personnel. Who would have thought we would have
in the last 3 years?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Offensive line was the worst year they've had in the last 3 or 4.
I mean, who would have thought we would have missed Mekhi Becton as much as we do?
Jeez, yeah.
And to me, and this is something that I've said, I was like, the way this offensive line played this year is how I expected them to play last year. When they had lost Jason Kelce and they were asking, hey, how can this offensive line bounce back without this key cog? Jason Kelce is retiring. What's going to happen? And they played out of their minds last year. And to the point that you made, Roy, this is an offensive line that had made good running backs
look great.
Yeah.
And made a great running back look like all-time greats.
Yep.
It took Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders died.
Miles Sanders got paid by Carolina.
Yeah,
got paid.
Yeah. But it was like, but it was like when we got Miles Sanders, I felt like the talk was, hey, we got that good Penn State running back who's not Saquon.
Yep.
we didn't get Saquon.
Saquon's backup.
Yeah,
right.
We got not Saquon. But he came in and he
could play.
He got behind this line and played. And they got DeAndre Swift, and I was like, all right, we got the hometown dude, and he was looking all right. And when they let him go, but then they brought in Saquon. This is how it's supposed to be done.
And then Swift got paid.
Right.
Exactly. Those are two, Swift and Sanders. Those are two guys who will never diss this offensive line. They still send them Christmas gifts. But nonetheless, you look at how they played this year. And I feel like that is something that you have to factor in, because you're talking about it's not just the offensive coordinator. It's not just the quarterback. Those might be the top 2. But you look at this offensive line, and then you look at, because this offensive line didn't play the way that it played last year, Saquon didn't play the way he played last year. So
I have a question.
Real
quick. So would you say this offensive line this year, not by their own standards, but by regular NFL standards, they were good, average, or terrible? We get it by you comparing them to themselves their last couple of years, big drop off. But the average NFL O-line, were they good? Compare them to that. Were they good, terrible? Okay,
I would
average?
say average. I would say average. Because I feel like we have seen what terrible offensive lines can do.
So the reason I asked that is if you give me an NFL league average offensive line, and I've got top flight skill positions, and I've got a $50 million quarterback, I expect my offense to look better than our offense did this year. I don't think I should need everything perfect to be a functional offensive line.
So are you saying that you felt like this defense carried this team for 17 games?
Probably about 15. The offense had a couple good games in there.
I mean, because I feel like that is like I see the point that you are making. I understand the point that you are making, but I still see. But you still have a team that won 11 games, and that I don't believe that's 100% on the defense. That defense. I understand
say
you
100%, but the defense did the heavy lifting this season.
Okay, no, that I will not argue with that.
Want to debate that the defense did the heavy lifting.
This ain't the comment wasn't made to say who did more. We know who did more,
Right?
But I'm saying that if you say this is, I think that if you say this was a terrible play, that's saying to me that leans more towards the defense did everything.
But that's why I asked you. I didn't. I said,
yeah. I'm saying average. I'm not going to say good. I'm damn sure ain't going to say great. But what I'm saying is, to me, terrible lends itself to saying the defense carried this entire team for the entire season.
So the defense looked bad early in the season,
right?
Prior to trade deadline, defense was definitely leaky.
Yeah, so the thing with the offense, like that. Yeah, no, the thing with the offense is like it's really like because again, you look like you said, John, 11 wins, right? You got a quarterback career high in touchdown passes, right? You still have an 1,100-yard running back. You had 2,000-yard receivers, right? And you had a tight end who had 11 touchdowns, right? Like on the base of it, like you're like, all right, like if you didn't know any better, like you didn't watch the games, you'd be like, all right, this looks all right. But then you see an offense that was 23rd in success rate and had the highest 3-and-out rate in the NFL. It's like, wait a minute, come on, man. It's like if I'm sitting here with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, like I should almost never go 3 and Goddard. And Goddard. I should almost and Jalen Hurts. I should never go 3 and out. It's like that's like there is no excuse. Again, even with an average offensive line, this team should not lead the league in 3 and outs. Like we should not have more 3 and outs than the Browns. Like that, it's just it's disgusting.
And that's why I was asking us to see where we felt about so I know we all like the O-line last year was the engine of this team. They dominated defenses, bullied everybody. But I know they weren't that this year. But with the rest of what's around them, it's hard to swallow the way it looked simply because the O-line wasn't the best unit ever this year.
Exactly.
So at this point, if the move at quarterback is not going to be made this year in 2026,
it won't be.
Yeah, of course,
and it shouldn't be.
All right, it shouldn't be.
No.
Then the move should then be to fix these other problems, and if you can get that back to where it was, and your quarterback is still the problem, then you make a move. So you fired Kevin Patullo. There are some free agents. You got free agency. You have the draft.
So so we say we fix all that, and then the quarterback's still the problem. What's interesting though is that when everything was fixed, the only thing that people pointed to as a problem potentially was the quarterback. I think a lot of us misremember last season, the 24 season, because of what those 2 last games looked like. The NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl allow us to forget what the rest of the season looked like. You don't end up as number 29 in the league passing because that unit is functioning well. You don't end up with AJ Brown reading books on the sideline.
It's kind of hard to sit there and say, "Hey, man, this is the 29th ranked offense." When you play like that in the conference championship,
but no. To Jonesy's point though, like we had similar conversations during the season last year. Like
that's what
how
I'm saying.
Bad, this offense took halves off last year.
Right,
then
that's my thing.
Just bail you out with a 70-yard run.
We're treating it like it's something that just happened this year. It was happening 2 years in a row. Last season just finished great because they had the run game to lean on.
But I don't think we're acting like this didn't happen. But it's like we also agree that the move at quarterback is not going to be made in 2026.
But what I'm saying is that evaluation process can't be like, oh well, what happens when we put all this back? We've already got to start considering the evidence we have.
Okay,
and that evidence that we have doesn't necessarily scream great quarterback.
if we fast forward to a year and Jalen Hurts is now on the cusp of his 29th birthday and we have the problems that we have, I think it's an easier sell. I don't think you're having that same conversation when you're sitting there with everything that you said in this show, just in this show, and you add to the fact that you're now looking at either extending Jalen Hurts and giving him more money, and he is at 29, and you now have 2 straight years of limited returns on your investment. No, I don't think you're going to actually. I don't think you're going to
have 2 straight years of limited returns.
But but I think at this point,
you just won the Super Bowl one of those years.
Yes, and that changes that changes things. If you're saying that,
but this is why I say we misremember last season. He was not playing a high level quarterback last season. He had 2 good games at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we remember Jalen Hurts. He did not have a great season last year, but because the season ended great, we forget what last season looked like.
Okay.
We already have 2 bad years.
And the explanation is that you're always going to remember how you finished over how you started.
That's not a fair evaluation.
Life ain't fair. You're right. It's not fair. However, when you give how he played this year, how this season ended, you then retool. You now have a general manager who has proven he now knows how to retool and get you back to where you need to be. He makes those moves and you still have the same result. You're not at some point in time, you get tired of it. And I'm saying that, yes, you're right. You try to make that sell in 2026, in January 2026, people are going to be like, hey, he just won the Super Bowl last year. If we're having this same conversation in 2027, look, this is Philly. So, yeah, a whole lot of people are going to do a complete 180 in that year. We've seen it happen. How quickly did we turn on Joel Embiid? Look what's happening to Bryce Harper.
Okay. So
I'm saying, like, yeah,
So I think where we're having a slight disconnect is you're talking about it from a perspective of people turning on him and what the fans are going to say. I could care less about that. I'm talking about if we're actually just evaluating this dude's play, it's already been 2 bad years. And if we go back to 23, that wasn't a good year either.
Even though in 23, statistically, they were better than what they've been the last 2 years, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Statistically, yes, but eye test said 15 turnovers, some terrible throws, some real WTF moments like against the Jets and such. Like,
second year full-time starter. Yeah, second year full-time starter.
Well, let me clarify.
Third year.
Third year.
Third year.
Third
year in the league. Second year as a
fourth year in the league. Third year as a starter.
Yeah.
First year as a starter was 9-7. Mm-hmm. They got blown out by Tampa Bay.
You're right.
Second year they lost the Super Bowl. Third year they got blown out by Tampa Bay again in the playoffs after that collapse.
Hate them Bucks, man.
And that's the other thing. We seem like we forget a whole year of Jalen Hurts' career happened because he didn't start that first year. Like, he was a rookie. No, he was not a rookie his first year starting. He's not that young a quarterback anymore.
Well, he's not.
Quarterbacks going into their prime.
No, he is not. And just like I said, we have this conversation at the end. If we're agreeing that the move is not to be made this year,
mm-hmm.
then we have to make whatever moves we can to improve this offense around him. And if we have this conversation next year, when we're then talking about whether or not to give him more money and extend him at 29 years old. And yet, no, I understand that you do not care about necessarily the fan sentiment. All I'm saying is this time next year, there's not going to be a lot of debate. This forum is about debate. And I'm saying that, yes, You're talking about the blowback, people not arguing what people remember, what people misremember. What I am saying is it'll be a whole lot easier to make your point this time next year if they make these changes and improvements are not made.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be any easier to make my point. The only thing to get easier is to get fans to listen. My point is easily made right now.
Well, listen,
JB, listen. What I'm saying is my point right now is easily made and valid because the numbers and the play on the field speak for themselves. Fans simply just we're Philly fans and we got a Super Bowl out of it. We're happy about that. We got a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That should not stop the Eagles front office from doing honest evaluations on every player.
Do you believe they're not making an honest evaluation on Joe?
You gotta say Joel Embiid.
Do you believe that they're not making honest evaluations on Jalen Hurts? Do you believe the team, not the fans? We're talking about the team, the organization, Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni. Are you saying you don't believe that they are making those evaluations?
I'm not inside the building. I can't say that.
No, I'm just asking your opinion from what you said.
I'm not inside the building. I can't say one way or the other what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
What I am saying is that from where we are right now, their actions going forward need to show that it's time for that evaluation process to begin right now, not begin at the end of next season. We need to be evaluating every position starting right now.
Okay. Then I believe we're not on different pages here, and this is why. If they make this decision next year, it will not be based on just next season. However, if we agree that that change cannot be made this year, if it can't be made this year, you make whatever changes you can make, and that factors into next year. I don't believe that if they move on or draft another quarterback, whatever they do next season, if the move is made to move on from Jalen Hurts next year, it will not be based solely or even most importantly on the 2026-27 season. I think 2025 will factor into it. 2024 will factor into it. Maybe fans, yes. Maybe fans will only be looking at next season. But I think the team itself will look into all those things. But what I am saying is when they make that move, the team will make their decision based more towards what you are saying, Mike Jones. If the team moves on from Jalen Hurts next year, it will be more because of what you are saying. What I am saying is when it comes to then
let me be a little more clear about what I mean. Mm-hmm. For example, look at what the Colts did this year. They got Daniel Jones. He was playing well early. They mortgaged their future because they believed in Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. They got rid of first-round picks and all that because they believed they had that quarterback situation handled. Whether or not they were right, injuries, his play fell off, all that stuff, maybe they were wrong. But they were operating from a position of we've got our guy. Like, I don't think the Eagles could be going into this season and be like, oh, we've just got our guy. Let's get rid of first-round picks next year to rebuild the rest of the roster. I don't think the Eagles should be in a place where they're operating like that. That's what I'm saying going into this offseason. They can't go in like, oh, we're sold, we're locked on this guy, and we're just going to treat it like that. That's why I say that evaluation process has to start now. Because so we're going into the offseason, the moves and such they make have to be, we're in evaluation mode, not sold on one guy mode.
So where do they go from here? Got the draft coming up. What would you like to see them do?
Well, over the next 2 years, we all see you're going to have to pay a lot of people on defense. And because of that, you're going to have to get less expensive on offense somewhere. So You're probably going to have to look at an O-line help for that right side. Lane Johnson won't be here forever. You may have to make a change with one of your receivers. You're already losing Dotson, but whatever part of his offense he was, you're losing him. But then,
damn,
you've got two $30 million receivers. Are you going to bring both of them back for another go? Like all those positions around the quarterback, because I think you all have all heard me say there are teams that I don't think are ready for a quarterback. Like I don't think the Raiders are ready for a quarterback. What I do think Howie has opportunity to do is begin that transition, paying defensive guys, flipping some of the older offensive guys, get younger, cheaper on that side of the ball, so that the year after, whatever decision you do make about quarterback, you're actually at your franchise at a place where it's ready to handle that decision.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, how about this? Let's take a look at who they got coming up in free agency this year, and you tell me whether you think they should stay or should or could stay. And we'll start with Dallas Goedert.
Goddard's gone.
Goddard's gone.
Yeah,
That's just the business of it. He's 31. You're not going to give him another big contract. Yeah, Goddard's gone.
Dotson, I think we all agree. Dotson.
He's
gone.
Thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night. Fred Johnson.
Gone.
I think they keep him.
I think they keep him. I think he's a good. He's a good swinger.
He's a good tackle
guy. He's a good depth guy. Yeah.
But I think someone else will offer him more money than the Eagles will. So I have a feeling he's going for that, strictly the business reason. Not that the Eagles don't want him. I just don't think they'll be able to keep him.
Grant Calcaterra.
Going.
Oh, he's going. He's going.
Pack it back.
Brett Toth.
Going.
Yeah, he's going.
He's
I don't know, actually.
He might be a practice squad guy.
He's one of those guys. Toth has been around for a while. He just kind of seems to find a way to stick
around.
like white Quez Watkins. He's always around.
Right.
So,
didn't they just bring Quez Watkins back on a futures deal?
A futures
Quez
deal.
has been on. Quez has been on the practice squad all year.
Quez played with Donovan McNabb. Like he's been here for forever. It's unbelievable.
So yeah, I could see Toth being back with one form, one way or another.
I ain't gonna have you out here talk about five like that. Matt Pryor.
Going.
I think he's going.
Yeah, he's going. Didn't have any really good performance this year. I wouldn't put money into that.
No.
AJ Dillon.
He's going. He's super going. Yeah.
You knew he was going when they traded for Tank Bigsby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So there you have it. Real quick. Let's move on to defense real quick.
Well, before we do that though, let's talk about AJ Brown. Like, because I don't think AJ Brown's here next year.
I don't either.
Can you?
And I don't necessarily think
cap hit is lethal though.
A move I would want to make, but I don't think he's here next year.
Even given the cap, the cap hit.
They took the cap hit with Wentz, so anything's possible.
Right.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That is a good point. It's as we record this show, it is Wednesday evening. I have literally talked myself back and forth on AJ Brown about 17 different times. At the end,
I want him to go.
I definitely don't want him to go,
but I think he's gone.
Yeah, I have gone back and forth. I started where you were, Jonesy. I didn't want him to go, but then I'm thinking. Then I heard the whole he didn't talk to the media and he was just dapping everybody up and he just bounced. I'm like, oh man, AJ Brown's done. Yeah. Then you start hearing about the cap hit. I'm like, all right, Howie ain't stupid. He ain't dumb. But now, I'm here. My man Javon come in here like, yo, they took the cap hit on Carson Wentz. And that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. I had not thought about that. And now here I am once again. And like I said, it's Wednesday. So that means by the end of this week, by the time people hear this podcast, I went back and forth a couple more times. So I don't know. But I'm with you, Jonesy. I don't want him to go, but it might have to happen that way.
The business of it and just the messiness of it could both kind of say AJ's got to go.
Yeah. well, we have both said, Jonesy, you and I have both said on this platform that we were cool. Once upon a time, we were cool going into a season with Devontae Smith being the number one wide receiver on this team. And then the AJ Brown deal happened. And we was like, oh, okay. Well, now here we are years later, and we just might have to see what Devontae Smith does as the number one wide receiver on this team.
My thing is this, honestly, with the rate at which quality receivers are coming into the league now, not necessarily superstars, but guys who are coming in ready to play, that position is a lot more replaceable than it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be when we were growing up, wide receiver was one of the hardest positions for a rookie to get on the field. Now guys are coming in and going for 1,500 yards as rookies. Like, it's completely different day and age. So,
especially you come from Ohio State and LSU, they
right,
nearly factory ship them.
And when you look at the recent history, you look at what Devontae Smith was able to do coming into this league, and then being a number two. So say there's a way you can get the number one, a top wide receiver in the draft, and no, he's not necessarily coming into this team to be the number one wide receiver because you have one. You let AJ Brown go, so Devontae Smith is now your number one guy. You bring in a top guy from say you're able to get a top guy in college, and then he's not necessarily going to be the focal point of this offense, and he can take a role that has a little less pressure on it.
So I have a question. Roy, Javon, what do you think AJ Brown would be worth in a trade? Like, what kind of compensation do you think the Eagles could get if they were to trade him? Like, they gave up a first-round pick when they brought him in 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably not at first-round pick at this point. You getting it in return.
Yeah.
Do you think he get you a second or a third? Or
I think he could probably get you a
probably
2 and a 4.
Third.
Yeah. I wouldn't trade him for a third. I mean, like, you got to deal with it. Like, if you're getting a third back from AJ and Nick need to get in the room and just hash it out. like y'all got to figure this out. Like, I'm not giving you up for pennies on the dollar, but for a second round pick, I'd probably do it. Yeah.
Second round pick.
DK went for a second. Yeah,
right.
DK went for a second.
You can get a good receiver in the second round.
Absolutely.
There have been several. Yeah. When was Amon-Ra St. Brown drafted? And
he was like late round, like fifth.
Right.
Wasn't Deshaun a second round pick?
Deshaun Jackson, he was a second round pick. I'm just thinking in current league, like you can get a good receiver in the second round.
Yeah, my round was fourth round. Yeah, right. You get good receivers. I mean, well, look at Puka. I mean, Puka's kind of like an outlier, but still,
fifth rounder.
Find guys.
Puka,
yeah.
So you can find guys if you're. And last couple of years, our scouting department's done pretty well in these drafts. So.
You talked about DK Metcalf. AJ Brown's 6 months older than DK, so fair enough to think they could draw the same compensation back.
And AJ is better, so
yeah, much better. Yeah. It just puts pressure if you do move on from AJ now. It puts pressure on you have to nail whatever you do at tight end to replace those targets, and then you actually have to
have a
kind of prioritize. yes, you have to prioritize a third receiver, not named Darius Cooper or Johnny Wilson, right? And maybe you work with whoever the offensive coordinator is, getting the running back more involved in the passing game. Like, you're going to have to try to find ways to kind of funnel those targets that you are missing.
Now, that is the one concern. If you were to lose Calcaterra, Goddard, and AJ all in the same offseason,
right?
That's a big chunk of your weapons all gone, and
you
know
don't
the tight
have
ends are probably
back.
both gone, right? And that's the one place where it gets iffy is it's all these weapons at the same time, rather than just one here or one there.
It's going to make that evaluation a whole lot harder, man. when you decide whether or not you want to, what you want to do with your quarterback. It's like, hey, we need to figure out what we doing with Jalen Hurts. But first thing we're gonna do is get rid of his top 3 weapons. But
it's gonna be interesting to see what they do for sure.
People will tell you, oh man, Josh Allen, he carry a whole team,
Well, Josh Allen did just go into a road playoff game against.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
That tush push pushed them 10 yards.
I will say this.
That was hilarious, bro.
This is the one thing I'll say though about this playoffs this year. When Stafford got the ball at the end of the game, I had no doubt he could go down the field, do what he needed to do, win that game. Josh Allen's down at the end of the game. I had no doubt he could get the ball, go downfield, do what he needed to do, win that game. When Jalen Hurts had the ball with 4:30 left down, I was like, we lose. I just didn't have that same level of confidence. Him, coordinator, all of them together. I just didn't have the confidence they were going to go down the field and get it done.
And that's where it starts. Like, they have to nail this coordinator pick. Like, that is... you have to nail that. Like,
yeah.
I think at this point, when it comes to that coordinator, I think my opinion leans more towards what the majority of people are saying. You get yourself a veteran. We've tried to now elevate Nick's guys. And I think, the success that Nick has had, the success that Nick's coaching staff has had has allowed him to say, hey, I would like to elevate my guy. But it hasn't worked. So now it's like, look, I don't think it necessarily has to be some sort of situation where it's like you're emasculating, like Nick Sirianni, like how he needs to come in like, yeah, man, we tried it your way. It sucks. We're gonna do it my way. I don't.
You need someone with fresh ideas, that from an outside point of view that can come in and be like, "Well, I've been in these different locations and come in." Not like, "Yo, homie, I just pulled you up from passing game coordinator."
My passing game coordinator. He's really smart. He got he's got a keen eye for the game. Let's make him the play caller. He's like, nah, bro. Right. I think it now.
I'm sorry, but to that point though, you got to tell Nick, like, look, man. Like, we're gonna throw the ball over the middle, man. We're gonna run, call some quarterback draws. We're gonna do some things that you might not like, right? But like, you gotta deal with it because again, we've done it your way, and it really.
So is that something you got to tell Nick or tell Jalen?
Might have to tell them both.
You might have to tell them both.
You might have to tell them. Did you see Hard Knocks this week?
Out the room.
Yeah, and this isn't even something I want to make like personal against Jalen. Just how many quarterbacks under 6'1", under 6'2" do you see use the middle of the field a lot? Drew Brees didn't use the middle of the field a lot, and he was a great passer. They would have to move the pocket and then shift the field. So like, or use
the running back as that like option,
right?
Like how San Fran does with Purdy, right? Like they'll do it, but it's like, yo, man, if I got Christian McCaffrey, like go run that angle route and just go. Like,
but yeah, that's the middle of the field is just one of those things. I don't know if that's something you'll ever see with this particular iteration of the Eagles offense.
It's like the running backs. It's like the running back screen. It doesn't exist in this offense.
Right.
Like ever since Andy Reid's gone, it don't exist.
You're absolutely right about that. Defense, they got some. Defense is going to be some changes too. There's some free agents about to walk out the door on defense.
Couple decisions you got to make.
They got some big decisions they got to make. I think
Nakobe Dean,
Jalen Phillips. I didn't think that. Who would have thought when they brought him in that this Jalen Phillips we'd be having this conversation like, oh, we need to extend, we need to try and bring him back. But what he might be in line for a
Jalen Phillips. Honestly, is probably the one I'm least worried about leaving. I like the development I'm seeing from Jalix Hunt. I think if Nolan Smith comes into next season healthy, you could find pieces to fill in around those two in the edge rotation.
That
But I
has to
think-
be better. That has
But
to
your
be
depth
better.
has to be better. But I think those two you can survive with those two as your starting edges, assuming
Now,
Smith
granted-
is healthy.
Yeah, now, granted, you had the health issues with Nolan Smith, but
Mhm.
wasn't that the mindset they went into this season with, saying, "Hey, when it was letting Bryce Huff leave, and you come back." And that's not saying, "Oh, I miss Bryce Huff," but nonetheless, you thought you had more depth on the edge, and then you turned out not having more depth on the edge.
So that was the thing. I don't think there was ever a perspective where we're like, oh, we have depth. We thought we had two guys that could start.
Mm.
After
And
that,
lottery tickets.
right. And Nolan Smith, he's a violent guy at setting that edge.
Love that
But at
violence, don't you?
245, 250, your body may break down at some point.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that you definitely need depth. That's why you hear Brandon Graham saying there were conversations about him coming back from August.
Right.
They knew they didn't have the depth they needed.
Mhm.
So they definitely have to address that, and depth at a couple positions, honestly.
You think
Yeah.
Brandon Graham comes back? He got that taste of it now.
It sounds like it. He sounds like he wants to come back.
I was joking with my wife about it because she's talking about, like, he retired and then he came back. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, at the crib, but he was like, look, man, I need to get back to work, man. And now he's talking about, he comes back for a couple of games and now he's talking about playing next season. I'm like, I don't know what was happening at his crib. He just got home and just got bored or something.
Mhm.
You saw that Phillip Rivers, like, yo, you could extend that health care for another 5 years. Like, we
Hello.
make something work.
The way Phillip Rivers be going, Phillip Rivers gonna be paying for his great grandchildren off the league. That man ain't never getting into the Hall of Fame, man. And it ain't because of his play neither. That man because that man gonna be the first 50-year-old NFL player, man.
Oh man,
that man got home, seen all them kids and grandkids. Was like, he called the Colts back up, like, y'all got to take me back, bro. I can't take this. I got NFL knees. You can't be putting these babies on my knees like that. No,
exactly.
All right, big tough decision. Eagles got to make to Kobe Dean. Gone.
Problem is they just drafted Jahad Campbell in the first round.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get somebody's gonna pay.
He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you didn't have first round pick invested, maybe, but you spent a lot of money last offseason to bring Zach Bond back.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have a first round pick invested in Campbell,
who played well, who showed signs that he could, that he was as advertised.
So
good in coverage.
That being said, I don't see any way how he puts the necessary resources into bringing back Nakobe Dean when somebody's going to be out there looking to give him a check.
Yeah. Reed Blankenship.
I think he's probably back. Yeah, I think it
Depends
depends on the money, but I don't think he's going to get overpaid.
Right.
Like, I think he's fine. So, like, he'll come back at a fine contract. Yeah.
Right. So, like 2-3
years, 10 million ish,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all see that with the same.
One of our favorite guys on the team, Adoree Jackson.
Oh, he's gone.
No.
He got better.
He did get better. He absolutely got better during the year.
Yes, he did.
He got better. He got a better option.
Still can't tackle, but
all I know is got a lot of DMs this week about our rant on Keely Ringo last week. And how he's joking him, but it is what it is. I can't talk about him 2 weeks in a row. I just can't.
Keely Ringo is a very good special teamer. He's a very good special teamer. You need
like
good runners on special teams.
That is true. That is true.
You need those guys.
But we weren't talking about special teams, Keely Ringo. We were talking about in the defense on the field covering NFL wide receiver Keely Ringo.
Can't hit on every Georgia defender.
I mean, Ringo is what they thought he would be, though. There's a reason he fell to the 4th round.
No,
Yeah.
Ringo was not who we thought he would be. I didn't think he would be that. All right.
He's tall, he's fast, and he had tight hips. He can't change directions well. But straight line speed, he's got that in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He is who the scouting report said he was.
Yeah. I guess. I guess. Like I said, I ain't got 2 weeks of
over the last 3-4 years, he's probably been really good locker room guy with all the Georgia boys here. So you're a special teams gunner. So
I guess you got to keep guys like Carter and Davis happy. So if you're going to push Dean out the door, you got to keep Ringo around, just so they'll be good.
Group chat got to still
exactly. You don't want to upset the Georgia Eagles group chat.
And it's not like Ringo's going to break the bank for anyone. So
right,
if they had him back as a special teams type guy again next year, that wouldn't shock me.
Okay. All right. Let me wrap the free agent part of this conversation up with I shouldn't even say free agent, but necessarily just lineup changes. Jake Elliott, what do you think they should do with him? Is it time to move on from Jake Elliott?
You got to bring in competition.
Yeah, you got to have a competition.
Yeah,
you got to bring in a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, he probably deserves enough respect where you don't cut him right now and just be like, you're going. But you bring a second guy into camp. You see if he pushes him. If Jake doesn't look like he's ready, right? Kickers, that's what happens to kickers. Yeah. They hit a wall, they fall off, and it's over.
No, I agree.
Bringing a spring football guy.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like there's good kickers coming out of there.
Exactly.
Put a little fear in them.
All right, I have no clue what happened to Adil Royster. We'll all jump in our personal group chat with him and make fun of him and crack lots of jokes and just say he abandoned the family. We'll probably have to replace him. I'll probably replace him with like Jason Ashworth or like Sean Brace or somebody. Bring Sean Brace in so we can have the Jonesy and Brace I Hate Jalen Hurts show. But real quick, Roy, what are you working now? The Eagles season is over. What are you working on now?
So main thing for me now, Countdown to Payout is not on Fox Sports The Gambler anymore, but I'll still be making appearances on there every now and then, so you can catch me over there. But most importantly, every Saturday, 10 a.m., the Broad Street Line, 106.5 FM, Philly Cam Radio. So check me out. Yes,
there you go. What are you working on this week? You have a show lined up for this coming Saturday?
Yeah. Obviously we got to do the post-mortem on the Eagles thing, and then as we always do with the Eagles season, like we just didn't just with you and I, you guys just didn't snap. We do what we call Eagles Tinder. Swipe left, swipe right. Who's staying, who's going. So we do our own little spin on this Eagles thing. So you're probably going to be a lot of guys that we're going to push the curve to see what happens in this 2026 offseason. But it should be fun.
Jonesy, we're going to do that next week, and we're going to say we invented that. We invented that.
Hey, look, when I was at Liberty Ballers, I got this on wax. It's already on Liberty Ballers from like 2015. So you can't say you invented it because it was already out there. I got the receipts.
Who's really going to tell us? Who's going to tell us that we can't say that we invented it? I'm absolutely going to say you can have all the receipts you want. I'm still going to say that we invented it. Javar, what you got working on, man? What you got cooking, man?
Pretty much same old. Obviously, Eagles is over, but spring football is about to start in a couple months. So keeping an eye out what's happening in UFL. A lot of former Eagles playing in the spring.
Total Sports Live UFL preseason show is. I can't wait. Are they ever going to bring the Philadelphia Stars back, man?
Unlikely. I don't think that's going to happen.
Sucks, man. I mean, I have a Philadelphia Stars hat. I have a Philadelphia Stars hoodie, and it's like completely obsolete at this point.
It's vintage. No, it's vintage.
It's collector's item.
No, it's not. It's just old.
They're on eBay.
There are people out there that like really like that stuff, like that retro, like USFL 1980s like type stuff. Like those folks are out there.
No, there's vintage, and then there's just old stuff, and that's what I look like when I pull out the Stars hoodie. It's just like, wow, that's really old.
I like that team. I like that team with Case Cookus and Corey Coleman. It was pretty solid. But now we'll be watching DTR this spring, so that should be
awesome. Can't wait. That's all going on Total Sports Live. Make sure you check out my man Javon. Make sure you check out Roy Burton. Thank you, good brothers.
Thank you, gentlemen.
no problem.
Mike Jones, any final thoughts?
The Sixers are fun. I didn't say they're good, but they're fun.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about that earlier. I didn't think I'd hear you say that in January.
But no, I said that at the start of the year. They're going to be fun to watch. The young guards, Edgecombe with Maxey and McCain, that's fun. I don't think the team can win anything, but I think they're fun.
No, that I agree. I'm not pissed off at this. I'm not pissed off at the Sixers. That could absolutely change.
Oh, I'm still pissed off at the Sixers.
But they're fun.
They're fun. We still got to deal with the Paul George contract and the Embiid extension. So I've still got plenty to be mad about.
At an hour and 15 into the show, I can't do that. I'm not going to go there with you right now. But we will go there because we ain't got no choice because Eagle season is done. So there will be another family meeting. We got to find somebody.
Roy's got the banner behind him. Javon's got the hat on. You know what I mean? They're getting geared up. Got AI on the wall. Like I see.
Oh yeah. You know what I got? You know what I got? Hold on.
What we got now? We got some props coming on.
There's got to be a Phillies family meeting too. They're coming up next month.
Oh man, they broke my heart with Eric. Oh my god.
On, no.
No. We talk about vintage and garbage. Like, there we go.
This ain't Barlow. This ain't a Barlow jersey.
Goodness gracious.
This ain't Jeff Malone.
That looks authentic too. My God. Oh. My heart.
So
there you go.
So I'm looking at the clock. I know we got to get out of here.
That's not Daniel House.
That's not Daniel House, baby. He's still available. There's still time to write this ship. You really want to write this ship? You really want to have some fun?
So JB, you want my final thought? Here's my final thought.
After I said that, no, I do not want your final thought. I'm afraid I don't want my feelings to get hurt.
My final thought, honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they brought him back.
Oh boy.
No, that might just be a call for help. I'm going to end the show here because I need to give Mike Jones a call because he might be being held captive. He might be being held against his will, and that was just a call for help. I am worried about Mike Jones right now because he might be in trouble. I don't know. Somebody might have Mike. Real quick. Are you being held against your will? Blink once for yes, twice for no. This man said, I would not buy Ben Simmons back. You know what? Play the music where we're going to cue. It's time to go. BITWsports.com. Hit us up Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at BITW Sports or at Jonesy and Brown. Jonesy, Javon, Roy, thank you guys. We out, y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy whatever's left of football.